Clint Eastwood's ex-wives. Clint Eastwood is one of Hollywood's last true legends, a man whose name carries the weight of decades of unforgettable roles, award-winning films, and a reputation as the ultimate cowboy. On screen, he was cool, controlled, and nearly untouchable. Off-screen, though, things were far more complicated. His personal life wasn't a calm ride into the sunset, but a tangled maze of marriages, affairs, hidden children, and controversies that shocked even those closest to him. His wives, and the women who stood beside him, weren't just beautiful, they were strong, accomplished, and often left to pick up the pieces after living in Clint's shadow. Today, we're uncovering the truth about Clint Eastwood's ex-wives, the stunning women who shared his life, and the secrets that followed them all. The story begins in 1953, long before Clint Eastwood became a household name. At just 23 years old, Clint married Maggie Johnson, a statuesque model with a quiet confidence that made her stand out in any room. She wasn't an actress chasing fame. She was refined, traditional, and came from a background that valued family stability. To many, she seemed like the perfect anchor for a man trying to make it in a brutal industry. For a while, the marriage looked solid. They had 2 children together, Kyle and Allison, and Maggie often played the role of supportive partner, while Clint hustled for acting work. But while Maggie was keeping the home steady, Clint was busy building more than just his career. He was already cultivating a reputation for being restless in love. Hollywood insiders began whispering that Clint's attention wandered easily, that long hours on set often blurred the lines between professional and personal life. Maggie stayed, perhaps out of love, perhaps out of loyalty, or maybe because walking away from a marriage in the 50s wasn't as common or accepted as it is today. But Clint's hidden life soon broke through the surface, and Maggie's world would never be the same. And the secret he kept during their marriage would eventually blow open Hollywood's image of the perfect family man. While still married to Maggie, Clint began a relationship that would change everything. In 1959, he met Roxanne Tunis, a striking stuntwoman with a tough edge and undeniable presence. Their affair wasn't brief, it lasted for more than a decade. By 1964, Roxanne gave birth to Clint's daughter, Kimber. While his marriage to Maggie was still very much intact, the scandal was quietly managed, and for years, Clint never publicly acknowledged Kimber as his child. For Maggie, the affair was both humiliating and devastating, but she didn't immediately leave. Hollywood was no stranger to infidelity, and many powerful men swept affairs under the rug while expecting their wives to keep quiet. But Clint's relationship with Roxanne was different. It wasn't a one-night fling. It was a 14-year commitment that ran alongside his marriage. When the truth finally leaked into the open, it became one of the longest-running Hollywood scandals of its time. Kimber eventually stepped into the spotlight herself, carving out a career in the film industry as a makeup artist and producer. But for years, she was the living reminder of Clint's double life. And as messy as that situation was, it wouldn't be the last time Clint lived 2 lives at once. By the mid-1970s, Clint's career had exploded, and so had his appetite for new romances. In 1975, he began a relationship with actress Sondra Locke, and this one quickly became his most public and explosive. Sondra wasn't just another beautiful partner. She was talented, ambitious, and willing to stand up to Clint in ways others hadn't. For 14 years, they lived together as one of Hollywood's most talked-about couples. But behind closed doors, things were turbulent. Locke later revealed that Clint pressured her into making difficult personal decisions, and their relationship eventually collapsed into lawsuits and public accusations. When Sondra filed a palimony suit against him in 1989, shocking details came out. She claimed manipulation, betrayal, and that Clint had sabotaged her career opportunities. Their breakup wasn't just a private matter. It turned into a court battle that pulled Clint's private life into the tabloids for months. For an actor who built his image on silence and mystery, this public unraveling was a nightmare. Yet, it revealed a side of Clint Eastwood the public rarely saw: controlling, ruthless, and unwilling to let go. And as the dust settled from that explosive breakup, another secret relationship was already making waves. While his relationship with Sondra Locke dominated headlines, Clint was also secretly involved with Jacelyn Reeves, a flight attendant. Their romance never became a Hollywood fairy tale, but it left behind one of the most shocking chapters in Clint's personal life. Together, Clint and Jacelyn had 2 children, Scott and Catherine. On their birth certificates, the space for father was left blank. For years, the children were hidden from public knowledge, growing up in the shadow of a father who chose not to publicly acknowledge them at the time. Scott Eastwood eventually stepped into the spotlight, becoming an actor in his own right. He strongly resembles his father, and his rise in Hollywood almost forced Clint to face the legacy of the choices he made decades earlier. This wasn't just about another affair, it was about secret children, kept from public record, and the image of a family man further collapsing. But as Clint's web of relationships grew, another actress would soon take her place by his side, and this time, the story played out on a more public stage. In the early 1990s, Clint fell for actress Frances Fisher. Unlike previous romances, their relationship was far more open. Fisher was already a successful actress, and their pairing seemed like another Hollywood power couple in the making. In 1993, Frances gave birth to their daughter Francesca, but even this moment of joy came with complications. Fisher later revealed that Clint wanted to keep the pregnancy a secret, worried it might distract from his career, particularly during the award season, when he was chasing Oscars. It was another glimpse of Clint's tendency to prioritize his public image over personal transparency. Fisher, however, wasn't one to stay silent. She eventually spoke openly about their relationship, shedding light on the challenges of loving a man who always seemed to have one foot out the door. And after years of affairs and secrecy, Clint finally tried to settle down again, but the results were mixed. By 1996, Clint Eastwood shocked the world by marrying again. This time, it was Dina Ruiz, a television anchor and reporter, more than 3 decades younger than him. Their wedding seemed like a fresh start, a chance for Clint to finally embrace stability after decades of turbulence. Together, they had a daughter, Morgan, and for a while, their marriage appeared steady. Dina even starred in the reality TV series Mrs. Eastwood and Company, which gave viewers a rare peek inside Clint's private life. But behind the scenes, trouble was brewing. Clint was still Clint, private, restless, and not always the easiest man to live with. Rumors of control issues and emotional distance circulated, and by 2014, the couple divorced. For Dina, the experience was transformative. She later opened up about the difficulties of being married to someone with such an overwhelming presence, admitting that the marriage was as challenging as it was glamorous. But even after 2 divorces, Clint Eastwood wasn't finished searching for companionship. After his divorce from Dina, Clint began dating Christina Sandera, a restaurant hostess at his Carmel hotel. Unlike many of his past relationships, this one wasn't with a celebrity or a woman already in the spotlight. Christina was grounded, low profile, and seemed to bring Clint a sense of peace he hadn't found before. Their relationship became public when they attended the Oscars together in 2015. From then on, she was frequently seen by his side, not as a glamorous Hollywood partner, but as someone who shared his quiet moments. Christina remained with Clint until her passing in July 2024, a devastating loss for the actor. By all accounts, she had been one of the most supportive and steady influences in his life, and for the first time in decades, Clint seemed content. Her death left him once again alone, facing the reality of his choices and the legacy of a lifetime spent balancing fame with complicated personal ties. And that brings us to the ultimate question. Clint Eastwood's legacy in Hollywood is undeniable. He's an icon, a master storyteller, and one of the most enduring actors of all time. But behind the accolades lies a personal history marked by secrets, broken marriages, hidden children, and women who loved him deeply, but often paid the price for his restless heart. To the world, Clint Eastwood will always be the man with no name, the silent gunslinger, the calm cowboy who stared down villains without flinching. But to those who knew him intimately, he was a man forever torn between independence and connection, image and reality. The truth is, Clint's ex-wives and lovers weren't just stunning women. They were survivors of life alongside a man whose greatest role may have been the one he played off-screen. So we leave you with a question. Was Clint Eastwood really searching for love all these years, or was he simply chasing freedom at any cost? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more stories from the golden age of cinema.